Hello, this is Kylie from Hello Crafter, and this project that I'm sharing with you today is a very special project because I have created these to swap at the Stampin' Up event that I'm going to this week in Vienna. And it's Stampin' Up's OnStage event, it's their annual conference. It's open to all Stampin' Up demonstrators, but I'm very lucky that I get to attend because it is quite a distance. I've never been to Vienna, so I'm really excited. So I've designed and made 30 of these to swap with other demonstrators at the event. Swapping is such a huge part of these events, and it's so much fun to share ideas with other people and get to know them a little bit as well and chat to new people. I'm going to show you how I created these. I think if you've received one of these as a swap after Vienna, you might like to see how I created it. It's a pop-up snow globe card, and I've created this with several different die sets actually. So I've used the Grove dies for the little deer, and I've also used the Spruced Up dies, outline dies for the trees, but you could use anything that you have that would look nice in a little snow globe, maybe a little gnome or a little gingerbread cottage or something like that. The other dies I've used on here, so I've created these labels here using these ones out of the cracker dies. So this is the cracker and treat box dies, but again you can use any label there. I've also used the layering circles dies to create the frame. So I'm going to start with the base of this little pop-up card to start with. I've put the measurements down here because otherwise I'm going to forget them. I'm going to start with a piece of crumb cake, and I'm going to stamp it first because I like to have a little bit of a pattern on here. You can actually cut little pieces, little squares of designer series paper alternatively, that would also look good, but keeping it simple and stamping onto there. So I'm taking my crumb cake ink and the snowflake stamps. I'm just going to get some pattern all over this piece. So it's so much quicker to do a full sheet and then cut it down than stamp them all individually. So, right, the measurements we need to cut the base. So we need a piece that measures 3.5 centimetres by 18. And then we're scoring this piece. So I'll just move it over so you can see the measurements while I'm doing it. So we're scoring this at 2.5, 6, 8.5, 14.5, and 17. And then if we fold up all of these, what it does, it creates. And then if you fold along all the score lines, what this does, it creates a hexagon shape. Just take your glue and glue along this tab here, and just glue that together flat so it'll pop up like a hexagon. So it's not a perfect hexagon because all the sides aren't quite the same length, but that's how it should look. And then you've got a little inside tab bit which you can see is what the frame is glued onto, and how I've done that is taken a strip of your crumb cake, so you can use your stamped bit or plain bit, it doesn't really matter, and this measures 9 centimetres by 2 centimetres. And then we will be scoring that at 1. So I just turned it over to do that, number 1. 3.5, 4.5, 5.5 and 8. So you've got these folds that will fold up something like that. And what I like to do is just glue the central folds together. So where you've got those two in the centre, just put a little bit of glue between them and glue that down so you've got something like this. And then if you fold it in half and then fold the tabs back on themselves, like so, and then put a little bit of glue on each side, and then I'm going to slot it in. So this is the wider panel at the front and the same at the back. I'm going to slot that in so that the edges, the folds, line up with the bottom of that hexagon box. Squeeze it down flat so that it glues on both sides, and that's what you get. So when you fold it, squeeze the sides in, it comes down and it comes up when you flatten it. There you go. And that is where you're going to glue the frame. So next thing is the frame. So we're going to take some white card. This measures 8 centimetres square, so I'm going to use the circle die. I'm using the layering circles dies to create my frame, and I want the two largest ones out of that pack, and I'll take some white cardstock. I've used the thick white just to give it some more stability. And before I die cut it though, I've got some of these adhesive sheets. The adhesive sheets come in 12 by 6 and I've cut them down to 3-inch squares, and I'm just going to place some adhesive sheet on the back of this. And this not only helps you assemble the frame, just makes it easier, you're not using the liquid glue, but also it provides some extra stability to the frame when it pops up as well. So I'm going to place both circles together on the cardstock and just make sure that they're evenly spaced. I'm going to cut out 2 rings from these 2 pieces. So I've die cut my 2 frames, and I've also used the larger of the 2 circle dies to die cut a window sheet circle, and that's going to be sandwiched between those 2 frames. So I'll do that now. So if you peel off the backing from the adhesive sheet, and if you lay it flat on your table and take the window sheet and just carefully find the edge and start laying it down onto that frame. And then the same with your other frame. Just line up the edge and attach gradually so that you're not bending it out of shape. Just lining it up as you go all the way around, and then just give that a good press down. And now you can add some decoration to this. So I've die cut these bits and pieces out of standard white cardstock. I don't want anything too heavy now going onto here. So what you can do is just put little blobs of glue. You will see it from the back. You could use a more adhesive sheet on the back of here actually if you want to have a less visible glue showing on the back. But I'm just going to use a tiny bit of glue just to stick those down. And because you're sticking it onto window sheet, it will take a little longer to dry than on normal cardstock. So just be careful, while the glue's drying, it might move about a little bit. So there's a good trick for adding sequins onto here that I've found. So you could use self-adhesive little gems, that would be easier. But instead I'm using these sparkle and shine sequins. I just love the effect of them, and it looks really like they're inside the snow globe. So I'll put tiny little dots of glue onto, put some on the tree, some in the window sheet, like so, and then leave it to go tacky. If you try and then add your sequins onto this wet glue, they'll just move around. So what I'll do is I'll leave them till they go kind of semi-opaque. Then I know that it's tacky enough to hold the sequin without it moving around. So I've left this maybe 5 minutes. I've just gone and made a cup of tea. So you can see that the glue's just starting to go a little bit sort of translucent at the edges. So I'm pretty impatient, so I'm just going to go with that. The great thing to use for picking up your sequins is take your pick tool. It's got this little kind of tacky rubbery bit on the end that you can lift the sequins off of. And if you pop them on that tacky glue, that glue should then pull the sequin off this tip. It won't do that if your glue is wet. I found out the hard way when I was making these. So drop a little sequin onto the glue dot and it should hold it. There you go. And then we just need to glue that onto the base. And you need to make sure that your piece that's lifting up is at the top. And get your glue and just put a little bit of glue just on the upper side. Oops. Of the tab, and then that's where you have to get your head round and just pop the bottom of the frame on. You can just sort of wiggle it to line it up in the centre a little bit and just make sure that's straight. And then I'll just press to grip it, and then you can see that it's stuck down okay. So last thing is just a sentiment. This is also from the Joyful Flurry stamp set that I used for the snowflakes. And I'll just use the crumb cake ink again. Tiny bit of glue right in the centre. And just pop that onto the centre panel. There we go. So I hope that's given you some ideas on creating these kind of pop-up snow globe cards. I'd love to see photos if you do create something like this yourself. And if I did swap with you during OnStage in Vienna, thank you so much. I hope the video was useful. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, I'd love you to click to subscribe. And I hope to see you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.